This is the Strange and Mysterious World podcast, in conjunction with Elusis TV. These are your hosts, Lee Stridham and William Collinson.
Welcome to Strange and Mysterious World, Season 5, Episode 21. And tonight's episode is all about UFOs, and more UFOs. And yes, he is back. My favorite movie producer, Steven Spielberg, is back. In the next month, he's got Disclosure Day coming. I went and saw, as you would have guessed by the beginning, I went and saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind last night again. It was in 4K. Fantastic movie. I've even got my two alien dudes up there, Frank and Ed. What about you? So we got to bring our an acquaintance of ours, Emil. He's a lawyer. He tried to do our Freedom of Information Act here in South Africa for some UFO files. I don't know if he came right, but I know the South African government here is pretty useless. So I don't think he would have come right with any of that stuff. So good luck on him, though. But we got to bring him in because he's got some information, as have we, with regards to the latest releases from the US. So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's bring him in. Whoa.
Cool, man. Also, look, we're wearing our merch. If you guys go to the website, you can buy a Strange Mysterious World cap, so we've got a uniform now. So you're both wearing the same hat. I don't know if this is cute or just gay, but
we're going to be bringing mugs and cell phone covers and all sorts of stuff that we're going to be bringing in there. So cool, man.
Yeah. So here he is. Here's Emil.
Are you
what's
fucking
going
smoking?
on? Is your studio on fire? What the fuck's going on, dude?
I hope you guys don't mind. Am I allowed to smoke a cigarette while we're talking?
Yeah, geez,
no
old
problem,
school,
man.
dude.
No problem, man. Yeah.
Bring back the smoking.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you got the smoke, so I got the
Make
coffee.
it cool again.
It's so lovely to see you guys again, man. How the hell have you guys been?
Yeah. Jeez, good, man. How you been?
Fantastic. It's been a while. Me and Will have been talking like every now and again, but just Lee, I haven't seen you in ages, man.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. How did your Freedom of Information Act go? I remember you were trying to get some UFO releases from the SA government, but I don't think anything happened there.
It was a difficult thing. We got only results really from the Civil Aviation Authority, who sent me two lackluster reports about commercial pilots. Because obviously the Civil Aviation Authority just governs normal commercial airline shit. Oh, sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, 100%. You can fucking swear as much
Okay. So the only thing that I ever really found joy with was the CAA that sent two very lackluster responses in terms of sightings that commercial pilots had. And yeah, it was really nothing. It's just commercial pilots from an undisclosed airline that said, we saw some things and that's it. They just recorded their findings. But it's interesting is because that we had, one of the key aspects of this prior request was related to procedures that was in place, of what kind of procedures do you guys have in place to actually report these findings. And they refused to give me the procedures. They alluded to the fact that there are procedures, but they just basically said, we'll give you two reports. And I read the reports and it says very little. It just says somebody saw, standard stuff like orbs, like the normal kind of sightings that commercial pilots may or may not have. So that endeavor sort of, look, we did it for a whole bunch of organizations, just to jump into it all the way. We did it for a whole bunch of government organizations, and the only ones that legitimately came back to me were the Civil Aviation Authority and South African National Defence Force. But
Those are the good ones, though.
Yeah, I suppose that's as good as it can be. But
They're the ones you want to get the information from, right?
Yeah, but
What other organizations did you approach? Like,
well, look,
post office.
To give some
What's
background, like what we actually did there is like to jump right into it is we did it to a whole host of people, and I just reviewed the old files just before we did the podcast, and we did it to the CSIR, the National Research Foundation, the South African National Defence Force. We did it even to Arms Corps, who's like the armament division of of the South African military. We did it to the Civil Aviation Authority, and the biggest response we got. Well, the majority of the responses were actually quite interesting. I didn't actually think that they were going to actually
get back to
respond
you.
or take it. Yeah, I didn't even think they would take it seriously, and I was quite amazed by how seriously they took it, in the sense that every one of them that came back to us, especially the research guys, they came back to us and they basically said, we don't know, but if you find something out, fucking tell us, which was cool, that these guys were like super interested in the topic themselves. They were really interested. And the CAA sent us two. I'll share it with you guys, like two lackluster sort of like encounters that they had, and from commercial pilots who had seen some stuff, but it was very rudimentary. It was no video footage or anything like that. It was just like they saw something they couldn't explain. Protocol says you need to file a report, and they did. But nothing much came of it. But the only guys that really actually engaged with us was the Defense Force. And at that stage, this was, well, when was this? This was 2021, 2022, thereabout. And
yeah, I mean, because me and you went and sat in the archives, and we went through. Yeah. We were like trying to find UFO files, and what was it? The military archive. Where did we go?
That was the official like Defense Force archives in Centurion. And I went there once before you, and I told you, listen, you need to come with me. Let's see if we can find something there. Dude, I was like, I did this shit like on a lunch break, and I like rushed over to. Sorry, is the audio better? Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good now. Yeah,
perfect. So, I rushed over there at in a lunch break, and they were like so chill. We sent these buyer requests, and the South African National Defence Force were the only guys who actually went like, come on down, like come to the archives. This is our address. Let's, whatever you want, we can talk about it. We can sort of. So I got there in my little fucking briefcase, and they were just like, this guy came to me and he was like, who the fuck are you? Like, why are you asking these questions? And I was like, no, dude, we're working on this documentary, and we're just interested in this thing. It's a hot topic at the moment. We just want to figure some things out. And then he just went, oh, sure, yeah, okay, come on through. We got like a whole thing here. I was like, oh shit, like I thought you were gonna put me in a room and fucking shoot me or something. And they just.
But tell us how the guy looked. How did the guy look when he came to see you?
Commander.
He had one fucking eye, William. I mean, that was already the thing for me that really made me nervous about the whole thing. But he was a very scary individual. And he made his presence known. Let me just tell you that right now. He was he was intense. One eye, full on camo gear, looked like he was like coming from a battlefield. You know, he was a serious dude.
Scars all over his face. Was he
Scar
smoking
all
a
over his
cigarette?
face. No, he was smoking a cigar. And like there was like fucking Creedence Clearwater Revival playing in the background.
Did he come down and the cat passes like slow motion? And you standing there with your little briefcase. Like, who has a briefcase in 2020?
Dude. It was a very strange. I'm obviously exaggerating, but he legitimately had one eye with a big old scar over the eye, and he was just like, "What are you doing? I see you're asking questions," and I said, "Yeah, well, look, I mean, we're doing this thing," and he said, "Come on through." So we went through these like hallways in the archives. And they just started piling these fucking boxes full of files onto the desk where I was sitting. But like these boxes contained like 100 files a box. You know, it was a very difficult thing to. And the interesting thing about that is the files that they provided wasn't files that has any detail of anything. It was indexes. Right, so it just says operation this, that, and the other thing. Next document operation this, that, and the other thing. So it didn't have any details of what actually happened at in these operations. But the people were super nice. Like I said, I went door to door, just knocking on people's doors and asking them, what do you guys know? What's up? And everybody was just chill. They all said, I don't know shit. But like, if you find something, tell us. And I ended up going through, but it was like maybe 20 boxes of indexes, right? Or indices, it was a tremendous amount of information. So I just sat there, like going through different things, like looking for keywords. But everything is operation this and operation that. None of it ever specifies like UFO fucking thing. Here it is, So you had to like
crashed in mountain.
Yeah, flying saucer is So you had to sort of try and decipher what it was. And I went there once or twice, and after that I called you, Will, and I said, listen, man. Let's go together, and you need to sort of see this sort of stuff and see how this is. And we went there, and by coincidence, there was a gentleman sitting there, and he was doing research for like army veterans or something.
Like if you died, he was like, what? Yeah, like all the people that had died. He was making like a list of. He was like a professional researcher. He knew all the indexes and the codexes and that. It was quite funny that he was actually there, like while we were there. Like there was quite just
a random dude. And he at some point was asking like, "What are you guys looking for?" And we like, explained to him, and he said, "Oh no, I'm a professional guy. I do this for a living. People, maybe they have a father or an uncle or something that served in some military capacity, and he sort of researches them and give to the family like a little bit of a history of this guy's service or whatever." And we explained to him and said, "Oh, listen, man, this is what we are looking for." And he said, "Well, maybe I can assist." Because I was looking at all these boxes, man. There was a fucking 20 boxes labeled top secret, highly confidential, what. And I said, shit, man, please, if you can make sense of any of this, then I would be endlessly grateful.
I know, we actually paid him. We paid him like to go through the boxes.
Yeah, we paid him. We paid him, and he did it. And he went through all of that shit. And he found some stuff that was dubious, right? Not something that was like a dead ringer for the UAP phenomenon or anything like that, but some things that were a little bit like could
Suspect.
ostensibly fit in that narrative. And so he sent me the extracts. So, and how it works is that you have to like give the item, which correlates now to these indices. You say, we want box number 5, item number 74, whatever the case may be. And he said, he gave me all of these references. He said, listen, this might be something. And I then ended up sending them a request saying, box this, item that. I want to see these files. And then only they draw the files, and then they give you access to the files if they think it's permissible to give you access. So I think he found a few, I think it was maybe 10 or so items that seemed like moderately important, vaguely related to UAP sort of phenomenon. And I sent then the second request to say, I want to view these items. And that's where the strange sort of thing started happening, is that at that stage, you were still dealing with archive people. You know what I mean? Like, you were not dealing with high-level intelligence people or high-level ranking military officials. You were dealing with, like, admin clerks and that sort of thing. Aside, of course, from the gentleman with the fucking scar over his eye and the missing eye. If that dude was an admin clerk, then, like, I don't know what kind of shit personal life he's been living to have attained those injuries.
Shit goes down in that office.
Yeah. Maybe that's a really rough office. I don't know.
His colleague threw him with a stapler.
That's like the most unromantic explanation that you can have for working in, like, defense intelligence and having one eye is to have been thrown with a stapler at some point. So I directed the second request to them. And I got contacted by somebody who was slightly more up the ladder, and I just had a look at my phone, prior to this this podcast, just to go and see who it was again, just to refresh my memory. And I revisited the prior requests and had a look at what actually we requested. And it was, I don't know if I should name names, but it was a brigadier general who eventually ended up contacting me subsequent to this second request, where we now said, I want item X, Y, Z. And it was a lady, and she asked me, like, why are you requesting this? And I said, no, I mean, it's nothing strange. We
want to go home. You should, because I want to go home.
Yeah, yeah. I got the tattoo on my leg that says homesick with the little UFO on top, and people always ask me, and I go, no, I just want to go home. And she asked me, like, why are you requesting this? And I just said, information purposes. It's a hot topic in the world at the moment, and this was before this was a hot topic. At that stage, like, very limited disclosure had been happening. This was something that was still very much like fringe. And I had many conversations with her, just telephonically, and it eventually culminated in a conversation where she effectively said, listen, we are interested in this whole thing, so we're curious, but we're not gonna grant you access to those files. And I said, no, it's fine. I understand this protocol, but what is the reason? And she said, well, it's at that stage I've built a bit of a rapport with her, and she was a very reasonable lady. We had a good rapport, and she just went, well, this is highly confidential shit. So unfortunately.
And so like in South Africa, it's like, what could we possibly be hiding? I mean, like, there's like nothing. We had like one nuclear weapon like about 30 years ago. I mean, what?
Exactly. It's not like there was. And look, I don't mean to take it all the fucking way back, but some of those things were like, I don't know if it was like as a result of the fact that it was maybe some pre-apartheid fucking operations or something, and maybe that was the reason. But it eventually culminated in this Brigadier General just telling me, like, I'm sorry, but your request is denied, because prior requests can be denied if it is, there's a criteria. But if they do believe that it is like at least some semblance of national security or whatever that may be threatened, they can just fucking deny it, right? And that's what happened. They just said eventually, we're sorry, but that's the end of the line. And, I said, okay, cool, understand it. We even had difficulty, Will, when you came with me to those archives, like, I asked them if can we film, can we like do some stuff, and they were like, no. So I'm not sure exactly what to take away from that experience. It might be a like Roswell situation where they go, this is Project Mogul. It's a classified military operation. Therefore, we're not hiding aliens or fucking any UAP or any extraterrestrial or off-world intelligence or anything like that. It's just that we need to protect the sanctity of certain operations that transpired, which you may think is something more than just a classified operation. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we effectively got stonewalled. And all of the sort of research and intelligence guys, even like the military, like armament guys, they just came back and they just said no. So the fact of the matter is it never really went anywhere, unfortunately. But what was interesting to me was the spirit within which these guys were willing to talk to us, that they were like amenable to and curious, if I can use that word. I think curious is the right word. All of them were very curious.
Yeah. Okay. So bring us up to date. What's happening in the world today? There was a big UFO dump recently. Did you guys watch did you see, because recently Bob Lazar was on Joe Rogan again for the second time with the new film where the guy made that like 3D animation, like, or like, I don't know, virtual reality of actually S4 and all of Bob Lazar's experience. So I mean, I can't watch it because like I go into Amazon and it says it's not available in this country. I can't watch it because it's from South Africa. They've geo blocked it from South Africa. So hopefully, I don't know when that's going to come out in South Africa. And then also Tim Bouchette, Joe Rogan had him on a few weeks ago, and he actually announced that they're going to make this big drop of UFO files. And then, I was also just thinking like, okay, well, obviously we're gonna get like it's the same old thing. They're gonna just please us, put out a few videos, and they're just gonna be stuff we've already seen or that's leaked out, or just little balls of light in the sky. Which I mean, from what I have researched or like what I've found some cool stuff. So what's been happening, guys? Bring us up to date.
Look, I think I'll wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'll send you a link to the S4 Bob Lazar thing. It's fucking incredible. It really is. I think they went above and beyond to do these 3D renders and things of what Bob Lazar has been explaining for so many years. And there's something I want to touch on. We'll get to that later, insofar as it relates to South African UAP. But ever since he went public with it, which is what, like I think it was 1989, and just at that point, Will, you and I just discussed telephonically the thing with this James van Grenen character.
Yes.
There's a big correlation between dates there which we'll unpack a little bit later. But I think that Lee, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to watch that new Bob Lazar. I think the guy's name is Luigi Vendatelli. I hope I'm not butchering his last name. The director. And he went above and beyond to create this 3D space and actually recreate from Bob Lazar's narrative what he actually saw, and it's fucking incredible. It's an extremely good documentary piece. And I would
watch it.
Urge
Send me the
anybody
link, bro.
to watch it. No, I'll send you the link. It's fantastic. It really was nice. Yeah, because it creates and of course in that JRE episode of Bob Lazar, they were going into like the accuracy of the 3D renders and certain things with the reversed American flag and the darkness inside the craft and all of that. Which the filmmaker just went, listen, all of this shit was communicated to him, and when they did the 3D renders, it all just checked out. You know what I mean? It all just
it just gave Bob like more credibility to what he was saying, because like when he was making that film, he's like, well, how would he have known that? And then when they made that, when they recreated the inside of that thing, it actually sucked the light out of it. And he was like, wow, that's interesting. Like Bob Lazar kept on saying it was so dark in here. And now when we've made this space, it's like we can't actually see what's going in here. And it's just like these small details that Bob said through his story that are like so insignificant to anybody listening to something like that. But then when they have to make like that 3D rendering film or whatever, it's just like, it just shows that something like a detail like that, if someone's making up a story, how would they just come up with some strange detail like that holds to such significance afterwards in such an abstract way, which you think you would never have thought that kind of information would come out to give him that extra credibility with like the backwards flag. I mean, it's like, what's up with the backwards flag? He keeps on saying there's a backwards flag on the ship.
Yeah.
And why would there be a backwards flag on the ship? And then it's like, and he didn't know that at the time. Like, yes. Why is there a backwards flag? But apparently, on military vehicles, like that, the flag, if it's going in the wind, on the left-hand side of your vehicle would have to be going backwards, the flag, and on the right-hand side it would be the right way around because he's traveling in the wind and it's blowing the flag back. So that's how they would replicate on the vehicles, how they would stick the flag on each side of the ship, on the side of whatever military vehicle it is. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was so
And that,
interesting. So that just really gave him so much more credibility. Because like, why would you make up this thing like that? Say such a weird detail. Like, how many years ago was this? Like 40 years ago. When did it come out? Where did he come out with that thing?
exactly. And it wasn't public knowledge that the flag on a military vehicle, should be facing the wind. So on one side of the vehicle, you will have it on, facing one side, and on the other side, you will have it facing the other side. And that's why he came sort of to the conclusion that this was, say, for instance, the right side of the craft, right? Now, how the fuck the military determined what was the left and the right side of this craft, that I don't know. But
Also, why would they put the flag on a UFO? Yeah, that's also pretend it's theirs.
That's a fantastic fucking question, because
no one really says that.
No, and the documentary doesn't clarify that either. Unless if you want somebody to, if that vehicle is ever acquired, and you have to look at it and determine the origin of it, then perhaps they might be more inclined to determine that it is military, like US technology, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the narrative that they want to say, that fuck, we don't want anybody, maybe this thing crashes again, and we want people to rather think it's a military vehicle rather than something other than that,
But also just that detail. I mean, just think about it. If you're gonna make up a UFO like thing, like I was working at this thing and like there was a UFO and like, I mean that in a detail to make up. I think, okay, well, when I'm making up the story, I've got to put all these details. Okay, I'm gonna put this backwards flag idea on the craft. I'm gonna like make it so when you go in the craft, it's very dark in there with the lights, even though we had these big lights. And I don't know, it just seems like that also made it so credible to me, because if you're gonna make up a story, to make some random, stupid, weird detail like that, it's
of course,
and then for
it seems implausible, right? It is the same thing with every other detail. If I can make a very general example in terms of, if we're speaking about Bob Lazar, is like the detail insofar as like gaining access to areas like S4 is concerned. Making up a detail about this relates to the Jeremy Corbell and Bob Lazar episode on JRE, where like they scanning the
hand,
like how far the bones of the hand is positioned, which is apparently as unique as fingerprints to any individual. It's a fucking weird thing to make up and then subsequently be vindicated, in where there's nothing like that ever. There's nothing like that in the world. Nobody uses that kind of technology. I don't think anybody has ever even considered the fact that scanning the length of the bones in your hands as, being a unique identifier. And he was saying this shit in the 80s, right? And only 40 years subsequent to that, it is determined to be, yes, that is a unique identifier. And Jeremy Corbell,
and the technology exists.
And it exists. And Jeremy Corbell finding, however the fuck he finds this information.
Or even element, was it element 15? What is it? Was it that he said that there's that element?
Yeah, 115.
Element 15.
Yeah, element 115.
115, whatever. And then and it didn't actually exist at the time, and only like recently, in the last I don't know, decade or whatever, they've come out and they said actually there is another element 15. So he predicted that. I mean, if he was bullshitting about that, I mean, he predicted it and it came true. So that's also quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm in and of itself, I'm a data-driven person, so I like to. That's why I like Bob Lazar's story so much. Is that it at the end of the day, it's like so much of what he said has been vindicated, and eventually, element 115 was synthesized in some laboratory and it's called Moscovian or something, I think named after Moscow's Russian scientists that eventually were able to synthesize that element, but it's an unstable element, right? So it's not something that can exist in a natural form. I think they synthesized it to exist for 0 point something seconds. So yes, they discovered it and it exists, but it's something that is to exist in a stable form.
Very volatile.
It's volatile. It's something that can exist, technically speaking, but it's something that does not exist in a stable form at the moment. And I don't know what kind of properties in those 0 point what have you seconds that they were able to synthesize it. I'm not sure what kind of scientific relevance they could sort of gauge from it. But him saying that it can exist in a stable form and alluding to the fact that he has got a little bit of it. He stole it from some lab or whatever. That's, I don't know. He has been vindicated in so many of his claims, and again, all of these small little details.
How funny was it in Joe Rogan? Well, he's interviewing him, and Joe Rogan starts telling him about like some kind of, I don't know, like just a very odd like conspiracy theory. I can't remember what it was. I wish I could remember what it was. And then Bob's like, "Nah, man, that's just bullshit." Like he's like, "Nah, man, come on." And then Joe Rogan's like, "What are you talking about, dude? You got the craziest story out of all of us. How are you telling me my story is shit? Yours is the fucking craziest." And that's what I like about Bob is he's not he's not out there with all the conspiracy. He doesn't even keep up with the UFO thing. He doesn't even know anything about UFOs except for his own experience,
Exactly, and he was saying the whole time during that second interview, he went like, "Listen, a lot of people would like to believe that I'm making some level of money out of this, but like if there is money to make, please fucking contact me because I've not been making money out of this shit." Like he's just been telling his story, and for all practical purposes he appears to be just a chill, like fucking, I don't know, normal guy. But again, this is now to flip it to the skeptical side of things, is that is exactly, I suppose, what some person might say if he wanted to seem legit, right? But I've never seen any question posed to him or anything like that which appeared that he didn't know, like, scientifically what the fuck he was talking about. It's difficult to tell through the lens of the camera if somebody is sincere or not, but he certainly appears to be a guy that
sorry, I'm just going to have my 2 cents worth there. You've got to look at the background on how things happened and what happened after the whole release and everything that he came through and he said about the whole story. I mean, for years he was a laughingstock, and he couldn't find work. You know what I mean? People ridiculed him for every, and it was like bad for him. So, and I think this is also why a lot of people don't come forward, is because of that. Let's say not now, let's say previously, probably up until about 2010. No one wanted to come through because it was seen as, besides fringe science, it was just like, you ridiculous if you believe in this kind of shit. And I mean, he went through such hardships and hard times, and you know what I mean? So for me, the credibility of somebody, he didn't make any money from this. The credibility of somebody comes from what he's told, all the cuck that he's gone through. And now all of a sudden people are saying, hold on, everything that he's been saying makes sense, and everything he's been saying is possibly true. And that's probably why he's now probably one of the most sought after people for interviews now.
Well, I mean, like after that big release, the first one where he came on, George Knapp interviewed him like in what is it, 1980 whatever, but he was so scared because he thought he was getting shot at on the highway the one time, and then he thought he had to come forward with reveal his identity now, and that was the only big thing of him since then was Joe Rogan. So for those many years, with all the ridicule and everything, he hasn't really made any appearance or like any. He was even so scared to go on the Joe Rogan show, and Jeremy Corbell had to like really convince him, and so that was the only next big thing that he ever came out with was that time. So he's just been living in ridicule his whole life, really.
100%. So
Absolutely.
that makes a lot of sense for me. And you know, the thing is, the data. You talk about data now, you're data driven, but the data is just too much. There is far too much data. Whether 80% of it is bullshit, that's okay. There's still that 20% of data, and I'm going back let's not even go to 1945. Let's go way before that. Let's go to the days of the Sumerians. Let's go to the Vimanas from the Mahabharatas. You know, it's been there, and it's been there from our history from the beginning. So the data just overflows. It's like a freaking fucking waterfall of data. There's no ways that the stuff is not there and it's incorrect. And for me, it's like very disappointing when, you know, you have these governments, and I can understand from a certain point why they don't want to release certain things. I understand that, national security and all those type of things. You don't want the Chinese and the Russians to get hold of your technologies. I understand all of that, you know, but I think there needs to come to a point where fortunately, we do have alien contact, and it's been happening for ages. And I think after watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind again for probably the 100th time last night, that whole interaction and what the government actually does to get people away, because, you know, the aliens had invited, and let's just take this movie as an example. The aliens had appeared to certain people around the planet as an invite to come and join the first contact. But the American government were so involved with this thing, they didn't want people there. So they put up this whole big story. Oh, there was some nuclear stuff going on and people were dying and they were wearing masks and all sorts of shit. They were like this big fucking cover-up story to keep people away. But for me, that is the most, it's like so wrong. People need to know the truth. And this is why I think, you know, as much as people don't like Donald Trump, I like him. I've always liked him, but except for some of the stupid ideas that he has and stupid shit that he does. But still, I mean, this whole idea about releasing the UFO files and releasing the UAP stuff and this whole congressional hearings that they're having, you know what I mean? For me, it's a step in the right direction. You know, I've always been interested in this stuff from Yeha. Okay. And that's why when I joined MUFON, I was with them for freaking 8 years. I was researching all the freaking sightings that were coming in from South Africa and from Egypt and from Zimbabwe and all sorts of shit. So I've always had this interest, but it always seems to get to a point and it's just fucking fizzles out. You know what I mean? We start getting to a thing where, hey, shit, there's interest. And now all of a sudden there's interest again with these release of these files that happened a couple of weeks ago. And I've got some stuff that I can that I'll share on screen that we can have a look at.
Show us what that's come out.
Yeah.
Give us the highlights, Lee.
But just Lee, just to add to that point, right? It's so interesting that we're talking about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is, again, any alien enthusiast's favorite film. It's an incredible film where they stepped away from the narrative of not painting it as Independence Day, like, you know, these things are coming here to to fuck us up. They appear to be benevolent creatures. A lot of that, I don't know if you've seen the trailer of the, and again, obviously, Close Encounters is a Steven Spielberg film. He's got a new film coming out now called Disclosure Day, you know.
Yes.
And
we're actually going to review that trailer just now. So I'll put it up. Unfortunately, we can't play the whole thing. We have snippets, but I've got it. We'll actually review little bits and pieces of it as we go.
But
it's just it's crazy that every time that some level of disclosure comes along, Steven Spielberg, you know, is also making a film about this shit, you know.
Show us the video.
All right. So this is one of the pictures. This came from NASA Apollo 12, 1969. And you can check the guys on the moon. And there, I don't know if you can see my little thingy moving around, but the picture's actually down right in the distance. Okay. But this is blown up. This is actually what it looks like from one of the photos that they took. So you can see there's almost like this blue, almost looks like a spine of some sorts that's running up.
A pylon, yeah.
Yeah, you see that? Blue lights. Okay, now obviously these guys are on the surface. It's not like they're in there in the module. They're actually on the surface. So they're taking photos. And a lot of these photos, you'll notice, have all these things. I'm just going to close this one down.
So what is this? Is this from the latest dump of like
Yeah,
the
this came
This
from
from
the
the
latest
latest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
where they've
so this one here, yeah, but if you
Interesting.
look at the top there, it's actually a triangle. You see that? There's lights at the top here that has got like almost looks red, yellow, and maybe blue. You see that on the top there? Triangular lights. Hey, Will, do you see it?
no, that
Yeah.
is interesting. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Then the other one, yeah, this one is even more. Also from this is 1972, Apollo 17. This is 3 years later. Okay,
Oh,
again,
very good. Another
they're
triangle.
seeing these triangle shaped lights. Okay,
Jeez, but it's so small in the actual photo. I mean, how would they even see that? I mean, like, you have to look
yeah,
at
but
that
if
photo
you look at the photo,
fucking
you can see
closely.
it, but it's so yeah. So I had to obviously blow it up, and obviously the
But
camera footage of those days was a little bit shit.
but look also the fact, yes, it is small but why the fuck would they determine this to be confidential? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
if it appears to be if you argue that this is a natural phenomenon, then why the fuck classify it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, also, I mean,
this
do you
one-
think he's taking a picture of the actual UFO, or is he just taking a picture in the distance and he happens to get the UFO? I think he's just taking a picture in the distance and he
it's not.
happens
They
to
they
get
were
it
seeing
because
these things. They were seeing these things. They actually there's the guys actually
Yeah,
said
the
there was
transcripts.
transcripts of them say that
It's
these guys are
fantastic.
seeing things. Yeah, they're seeing things, and they were taking photos. So this is the photos. My favorite one.
So is this
one
him
here.
trying to take a picture? He's actually trying to take a picture of the UFO, and it actually like because usually if you take a picture of something, it's in the middle of your frame. So you want to take a picture. If you see anything of someone taking a picture of the UFO or whatever, it's always in the middle of the frame because it. So, but this is not in the middle. It's a little bit to the right. Well, this one's actually got all over the place. But maybe
This one's
he was
all
trying
over.
to point it, pointing it at it, and it's moved in the shot. It's moved a bit,
Yes.
so you
correct.
couldn't get it in the middle. Because
Yeah.
so I think maybe
Well,
he was trying to take a picture of the UFO.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
like
this one, yeah, it's all
what you
over.
know, what was he taking a picture of the lunar surface and just coincidentally, happened to catch this thing? I mean, that seems to be something
that's what
that
I'm.
he is typical. He's taking the photograph of this thing. Maybe it's just a shit
But they,
photography.
yeah, because that's what I'm trying to work out. Because like, if he's just taking a picture of the lunar surface and that happened to be there, that lunar. What
Yeah.
is he taking a picture of? There's nothing there that's like. Well, I suppose there is nothing on the lunar surface except for just rocks and shit. So, like,
Yeah.
there's
So why?
it's just such
yeah,
a
why
random
take the
picture,
photo?
you know.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I think they were taking because of the transcripts, and they were saying they could see these things. I think they were trying to take pictures of it. There's probably a video
Yeah,
of
so
it
it's,
out as well, but these guys haven't released that yet. But these are I mean, this one here has got how many? 5. I mean, look at
wow,
these
all in the
things.
one
This
shot.
is like
Wow,
weird
there's a whole
shit,
swarm
man.
of them.
Yeah, this is weird stuff.
Wow.
It's not like planets and stars. These are weird. This is weird shit that's going on.
That's pretty cool.
But
Look at all these like
but
bars.
if you ever look at those transcripts, man, they were detailing that there were some or other, something, and they described it as tumbling, the lights or phenomenon or whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know if this was if that transcript was taken. Maybe Lee, you can correct me on that, but I don't know if they were describing whether or not that was on the lunar surface or this is while they were still in orbit or whatever. But they were certainly seeing these kinds of things, and they were.
That's when they were coming out from orbit into. I've actually got that, so just hang 10 for me.
So did the transcripts, were they also declassified at the same time in these photos, or you
part of the leak? Yeah, part of the leak. I've got them. It's part of the 8 May leak or the disclosure. 8 May disclosure. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to listen to this. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me know if there's sound. Let me know if there's sound, but I'm going to play it.
Gemini 7 here, Houston 98.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Roger. Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
What?
Say again, 7.
Okay, we have several, looks like the 3 up here, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
But we also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by from the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
From the pier line, or further.
Roger. Gemini 7, Houston, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high? Roger.
7, this is, Houston, this is 7.
Go ahead.
I have the booster on my side as a brilliant body in the sun against a black background and with billions of particles around it.
Roger, what direction is it from you?
It's about at my 2 o'clock position.
Does that mean it's ahead of you?
It's affirmative, ahead of us at 2 o'clock, slowly tumbling.
Roger.
That's really cool, actually. Amazing. That's actually the funnest thing I've
in this disclosure, I want to share something, right? Like the videos, the thing about the disclosure now is like the majority of the videos are things that have been leaked already.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things
now they're just confirming them.
Exactly, right. So it's like a lot of the things are like with gentlemen like Jeremy Corbell and those guys. They've leaked the majority of these things now, right? And the Apollo transcripts have been going around forever. And the fact that they are sort of vindicated now, that appears to be the significance of this first release, right? Because I guess the name of the game at this stage is disclosure, right? In the sense of getting people climatized to the fact that the people running the show are willing to admit that this is now something that is tangible, right? Because a lot of these things have been leaked forever. You will see a lot of the videos in this disclosure, and the same thing with the transcripts, and the same thing with all of the PDFs and stuff that have been leaked. It's nothing new, to be perfectly candid. It's nothing new. It's just sort of them acknowledging the fact that you know what, this has been around forever, and we can now positively say that this is real. right? And there's
Yeah.
some element of value to that. But I think a lot of people wanted to think that this is going to be like, all right, guys, let's go. There's reptilians, there's fucking greys, there's the tall whites, there's the whatever. And it's just simply not what it is. You know, I think all of these things are just things that everybody has been seeing for years. And to be vindicated in that is a step in the right direction, but it's nowhere near the level of actually disclosing something that has been unknown since forever.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that the private people have been driving this thing for so long, right? The Jeremy Corbells and the guys
George Knapp's and
the George
James
Knapp's
Fox's.
of this world, who have been in the Jacques Vallées and everybody of this world who has been, and the Bob Lazars and whatever, who have been driving this narrative, is like, I believe there's a semblance of vindication for them without giving too much in the sense of, we're going to give you something else. I think which is understandable from my point of view. I think it's understandable because it's something that has to be fed, in very small doses, and to ensure that people can actually pellet these things without getting too alarmed, right? And it's the same thing with the Apollo transcripts. It's nothing new, those transcripts of the whole on the dark side of the moon kind of things have been around forever. But I guess it's a great thing to say, you guys have been correct. This isn't something that we take lightly. But there's nothing new. But yeah, I don't know. That's just how I feel about this whole disclosure. It's
So, but anyway, Lee, have you got anything else? Geez,
Yeah, I've got
is that the best
videos.
that came out?
No. I've got 5 videos that we can watch now. I'm going to share the screen again.
Oh, nice. So hopefully, did you save the best for the last? So it's the climax, or was that the best? Did you show us the best first, Lee? And now everything's boring from this onwards.
Let's see. I'm going to try and share. Tell me if you see what. Can you see what's going on here?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. All right. So this was reported in Greece, January of 2024. Basic story is this thing. This is from Aero. It picked up an anomalous movement, but it had to shift to infrared to pick it up. But you couldn't see it in the natural with natural vision. It had to shift, and I think this is where, as soon as we discovered infrared and we discovered ultraviolet and those type of things, this is when we really started to see what was there, because these things were flying around. No one had a clue until we shifted over. Okay, so I'm going to play this. This is from Greece. You'll see it'll shift. It's picked up something. You can see it there on the right-hand side, and now it's picking up. You see, and the natural view was on the left. You couldn't see it. Now this thing is moving. It's got some sort of tail. You see that? Everybody thought it was a balloon, but it's moving quick. It was 434 knots, dude. That's fucking fast.
Maybe like the helium's coming out of the balloon.
Nah, that thing is moving quickly, dude.
Exactly.
And it's not staying, and it's also not staying in a straight line. It's kind of moving.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so
that's pretty interesting.
That's
I mean, if it's classified, then it's interesting.
Other one was 2023 video. This is in the water, yes. This is actually in the water. So the satellite is taking footage from above, and it goes over the land now, this thing, from the water over to the land.
What do you mean? Like it just flew over the water, didn't come out of the water?
No, flew over the
What?
water. Then 37 was actually interesting because this was now in the Middle East. 37, very interesting. This is now the water. This is, you can see, he has a boat. And your chick's starting to fly past. Shoo! Did you see that?
No.
On the left. I'm gonna play it again.
Like a seagull.
Nah, too quick. Check that.
Torpedo, maybe.
Underneath the water?
That's underwater.
No way. Does it say under the water?
Yeah, you can actually see. You can see the trail. You can see the trail underneath.
Oh, that's just from the air.
No.
I think it's under the water.
Yeah. That thing fucking moved.
Huh? Is that under the water?
Yeah.
Does it say that in the description there?
Follows shortly
Look
linear
on the bottom
path with the
quarter.
bottom of the screen at the top of the exits from the top left of the quarter of this video. Information purposes, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really describe.
What makes you think it's under the water?
Because of the trail
The
that it's
tail.
leaving. Yeah, because of the trail. There's some sort of the resistance that's coming off at the back. So when it goes through, it's leaving the trail.
Would this
It wouldn't do it in the air. Wouldn't do it in the air.
Pick up
Yeah, if it's going underwater. Yeah. My opinion, it's underwater. 38, what was it at? 37, 38 is very interesting, dude. This is also Middle East, 2013. This is interesting. This was probably the most interesting of all of them. Check out this fucking, look at this thing here. Check out that.
It's like a cross. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Check out that. Check out that.
Wow.
What the fuck, dude?
That's like the
Isn't it?
Knights Templar
Yeah, but that's just, that's
UFO.
obviously dark, so that's very hot. That's like very, very hot. That's coming off there. That image. They say it's like back burners or something, but that's like fucking. That is. And check out this thing's
smoke coming
moving,
out
dude.
the back
Look,
of it or
it's
something.
moving
got
all
a
over the place.
signature though.
Yes, it's
But
a
it's got a
signature, but it's a
signature.
weird. Yeah, which means there's heat coming off of it.
Yeah, but hang on, I've seen this one, right? So just keep your eyes
Isn't
on
black
the
cold?
top. I suppose this is black hot.
I thought black
don't
was
know.
cold.
No,
I'm not-
I think it represents
they
heat.
can-
I don't know. We'll have to
That,
check.
that ship was black.
But they can switch it
Because
up.
the ship
like
was black that you
cold,
showed me earlier.
white hot. There, just Lee, can you back that up? Just like 10 seconds. Look at that thing on the left hand side. Like it's gonna start on the top. See that? Right? Doesn't it appear to be a
Like the
parachute? If you can
ghost-
move your
Ghost UFO.
No, this
No,
is
no,
moving quickly. Yeah, this is a parachute. No.
No,
this
on
thing
the
is
top
moving.
left, there's a blanket. It looks like someone's
There's-
blanket
there's-
flew out of the thing, and it's
there's something there, and that thing is moving perpendicular to the object, right?
Let me go
Right.
back
This
a
is the
bit.
criticism of this video. Just check that out. Right, top left hand corner. Right, you'll see it
yeah.
now.
Look there, look, it's coming. coming.
You see that?
Yeah.
And it's going to
It
come into
was
view now.
even better. There was because it came right into the
Yeah, just check it out now.
yeah. And I think that thing is there's so much
Check that
smoke
out.
thing coming out of that.
The fuck
There,
is
yeah,
that?
look at that. Look at that.
I mean, that thing is obviously moving with the object, right?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, what is that?
But check that out. Like play that a little bit, and you see that thing is going to keep moving with the object.
Since the field follows a visible trail, the area's contrast leaves a sensor field of view. For an apparent cut, the area of the contrast generally remains within the sensor field of view before the time frame. This very description. Okay, hold on. So let's go to the top. Command submit a report to unidentified anomalous phenomenon to all domain to Aero, consisting of 1 minute 30 second footage from an infrared sensor. So it's infrared. 46 from the infrared of the US military platform in 2013. The report did not provide any oral or written description of the observation.
My only
pointed star.
There's a lot
criticism
of
on
smoke
that.
coming out of it. It looks like Emil's studio there.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
But look, it's obviously got a signature, right?
Yeah.
Because it's leaving a trail, right? But
Yeah.
my concern about this thing, and this is one of the biggest videos that have been drawing a lot of attention from these files, because a lot of it is just like it's a fucking orb, right? Just shooting across in a battlefield or whatever. But that one specifically has some semblance of a
Of
I don't
something.
know what a lot of people
Yeah.
consider to
This
be
was-
a
I love the
parachute.
shape. I love the shape of it though. Like it's got this cool, like the other ones are just like a dot or a fucking blob or something, and this one's got like a cool star shape on it.
This was in the Pacific, but this is also just. But now watch this thing here. So watch how it turns. So there's an orb of some sorts. Watch how it turns. It comes down, poof, and it goes reverses the other way. This is over the water. Check those movements. That's like weird, dude. That's like really anomalous movements. That. Now watch, it'll start moving the other way. Check how quick motion that was. And then it starts going between check now it's picking up pace. Check that. So it goes between and in between and behind some of these things. So it's like
it's obviously moving intellectually, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so those of the ones that I could kind of pick out, those were the ones that kind of stood out for me as something. Anyway, I'll stop there and I'll stop sharing. But like I said, it might not be the greatest dump yet with regards to information and videos and stuff that's coming. But according to Lou Elizondo, he said he's seen footage of stuff that we're still coming to get. He said that stuff is going to blow the socks off of your feet. He says the stuff that's coming and that he's seen, you won't believe. You won't believe. So these dumps are coming, and I think it's interesting.
Wow. So great. Are we going to probably see a proper saucer with the lights and the portals and a little alien waving in the window?
I don't know. He says, but they've got 4K footage. They've got 8K footage. He says there's stuff you won't believe.
I hope it's not going to be 8K footage of fucking gun footage.
Like a Tic Tac. I'm so sick of the Tic Tac.
Look, a lot of these things that they've also disclosed is like one of the things that's prevalent in this new disclosure is the jellyfish-esque kind of thing, which have also been released previously, which I think Jeremy Corbell has also said there's like 8K footage of this thing. You know what I mean? Like this is FLIR footage, or like it's like infrared footage, or whatever the case may be. But
boring because it's like a little dot flying around.
Well, no. This footage of this thing that you talk about now, there's actually two theories with regards to this. So the one theory is they're saying it's some sort of technological balloon type thing that's got these tendrils that are hanging off of it, that it's picking up some sort of sound or something. They're thinking it may be foreign. We don't know, Russian, China. But the other theory is that it may be some sort of creature that's living in our atmosphere that we've never known about, that just feeds off of whatever's, because there is life in our orbit. There's life, there's microbes and all these things, so it feeds off of that. So they might have found some sort of new form of life that's been living on Earth for such a long time, and we've only kind of figured it out now. So who knows? That's coming. That's still coming.
Either way, that's pretty interesting.
I really like the concept of, I don't know if you watched that film by Jordan Peele called Nope, which sort of flips the thing on its head to say that this is a biological life, like
is that the one where he brings in that ape, and the ape like ate other people, and then it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a really cool movie until halfway through, and then it sucked.
I'm a big fan of Jordan Peele, and I would say that's not his greatest film, but I do enjoy the fact that he tries to flip the narrative to a certain thing where it's like a craft can be something biological, and I think in the disclosure now in 8 May there's China, there's something that was taken off the coast of China, which appears to be somewhat biological, right? And especially these jellyfish sightings appear to be slightly biological. And, what to make of that as to whether or not it's a biological thing or that we haven't just never have, considered the existence of, or if it is in the UAP, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Right, so now we're going to play. We're going to
okay.
play the.
So, Lee, is that it? What else you got there?
No. So now we got to get into the trailer for Disclosure Day. Obviously, we have to just be careful,
cool.
with due to
getting flagged.
Copyright
So we just got to be careful.
But I don't know. Can't it be like?
Hey, what's that?
It's weird because it's a promotional video. It's weird because it's a promotional video for a film. So you would think if it's played on any platform, it's actually doing the purpose of what it's meant to be doing, is marketing the film. So how could they flag us for?
No, they do, because it's intellectual rights and all sorts of shit.
Marketing
like that.
thing.
Yeah.
It's about monetization at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's it. Just hang 10.
What did you steal?
Secrets. The data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
So we got to play a little bit more further on, but that's front section. There's two things. The first thing is there's a nod to that guy. What was his name? Gary McKinnon.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. So if you remember
into the national computers.
Yeah, because he came up when he actually hacked into the system. He picked up some documentation that stated that there were off-world officers, extraterrestrial officers that were on the list.
Oh wow.
Okay. So I think that little beginning of the movie is actually a nod to him, because he, this is exactly what this guy did, and he tried to reveal the truth to the people, and obviously going to do big shit for that.
Yeah.
So So that's the first thing. The second thing is the phenomena of the crop circles has been around for hundreds of years, dude. That thing there, and as much as people are saying, yeah, but it's people that are going there, they've got these sticks with the ropes and they're fucking bending their shit. You can actually see the difference between people that have made it, although some of them have been really, really good. I mean, there's been ones that guys have made, man-made stuff that has been absolutely phenomenal, like really detailed stuff. But then you can see the other ones. So like when the man-made compared to the Orb made, I'm going to say Orb made because they've actually figured out there was some footage that came through from a news, I don't know if it was in the UK, but they actually showed you this orb over the field. And people have said over the years that they've been seeing these lights over the fields. So we think it's these lights that are doing these type of things. So, and I mean, it goes all the way back to they used to call them devil circles, because they used to think the devil used to come and make these circles out in the crop. So, you know what I mean? So now Steven Spielberg now is starting to put things together. That's happened throughout history. Yeah. You can play from 29 seconds to 58.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear it. It's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can.
Okay.
There's like Althea, light language.
Yeah, so that's very interesting because there's a specific language now that because obviously it's on the news broadcast, so now everybody in the world is hearing this language, and some people are able to pick it up. Some people can hear what they're saying, where most people can't. They're just hearing this whatever the language is. So we've had Althea on a couple of times, and she gives us what we call gibberish. But she may understand. So you may have people, light language. So
I mean, it's not called gibberish; it's called light language.
No, but we don't understand it. For us, it's gibberish. I mean, we don't understand a fucking word that she's saying. But maybe, I mean, she does.
You know what also is a bit suspect. You know what's a bit suspect about those light talking? What do they call it? The light language people. It's always these incredibly hot women that are doing it. Have you noticed?
Maybe the aliens are the only way to bring the people on board there.
So like, I don't know. I think that's why that was my first where I got a bit suspicious. I was like, well, it's it's like pretty cool, but how come every single person that's doing this is incredibly good looking? So anyway,
that's cool. All right, so the last bit we're going to play is from 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
Okay.
Last section there reminds me of, and it's probably Steven Spielberg, going back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where those UFOs were coming out of the clouds. So I don't know if you recall in the movies, especially when that child or the child's was taken, those things were coming out of the clouds. So I think this disclosure day, look, everything seems to revolve.
Anything more original again.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Everything comes from the clouds, dude. And apparently these things have been hiding in the clouds for ages. So apparently they can hide themselves in the clouds and you'll never see them. Some people have taken footage in aircraft, like if they were passengers that have been sitting in Boeings and that, and they've actually taken footage of these things in clouds. And I'm assuming that would make sense because, I mean, it's easy to hide from view if you're sitting in a cloud. You know what I mean?
There's also those videos of like they film a cloud. Like, have you seen those time lapses of certain clouds, and that one just stands completely still while everything else moves around, and the clouds in a weird shape?
Yeah, and you got the square clouds. Have you seen those? Have you seen those square clouds?
Jeez, no, that's
yeah. There's footage around the world of square clouds. Square clouds.
That must be the Matrix operating on a PC.
Well, they say we're living in a simulation, so maybe this all is part of the simulation.
But I'm just saying, like, if it's got square clouds, it must be a PC that's generating it, because like it's
we've
become with square clouds.
Yeah, but it's actually there's some stuff that's out in the skies there, dude. No one obviously looks up anymore. That's also the problem, especially in South Africa. This is also why in MUFON we had such terrible fucking sightings, because people would just send me photos of like a lens flare. Or hey, I saw this orb and it's the sun reflecting. Some people actually, I don't know why.
No, have you seen some guys like?
Yeah.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah, go.
I was gonna say. So
there's some guys I've seen on like they take a picture of the sun and they say like this is an orb.
Yeah, I saw this at night. Then I got this guy that sent me this fucking footage. He said this it was he said, hey, what are these lights? And I look at this photo and it's a fucking he's driving, he's obviously pulled over, and he's taken a picture of the reflection of his dash cam, of his dashboard on the window, and he's just taken a film of it, like a picture. So you see all these colors, but you can see it's the fucking headlights. You can see. So why would you waste my fucking time sending me shit like that? I could see straight away the fucking reflection.
Because also he knows, but do you think he knows? He's like,
he knows. He likes fucking around then. And that's also what pissed me off, because I had to go through a lot of that stuff. People in the hotel room He takes a picture of the reflection of what's behind him. You know what I mean? Like the kettle and the kitchen lights. Takes a picture of that and says, "Hey, I saw this." In the meantime, I can see it's a fucking reflection, man. You know what I mean? We're not fucking
Out of
palookas.
curiosity, Lee, do you get a lot of that? You get a lot of like things that are obviously like somebody fucking around, or do these people legitimately think that this is something?
Okay, so people fucking around, I would probably say when I was doing the reports, while I was there, I think I did about 800 reports in MUFON over the period of time that I was there. Of the 800, I would probably say about 100 were of just people fucking around. I mean, Oak sent me a thing of SpongeBob SquarePants. He said, "Hey, I saw this yellow thing running around the yard." You know what I mean?
I gotta give it to you. That was a good one.
But I'm like, what the fuck are you sending me this shit for, man? I've got to spend time doing this kind. And they didn't pay me for it. It was all fucking free. So, I mean, like, I'm thinking, oh, Jesus. So, yeah, the people did. And actually they went, because to report a thing wasn't the easy thing. You had to go onto the MUFON site. You had to go and put the date and the time and you know, it's a long fucking list, and then photos.
The SpongeBob Speaker, he really had he really wanted to make his point. Eh? It's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, and then
really
from other
half an hour.
From other stuff, it was I'd probably say people that really thought that they saw something. I would say about 70% of people really thought that, hey, wow, this is something, but I could see it wasn't. It was like a balloon, or it was headlights, or it was a reflection of some sorts, or it was some sort of artifact on the camera. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of that.
Or something.
Yeah, it was like, you can say, oh, for fuck's sake. And it was always the same.
Yeah, but also
I had a lot of non-photos.
But the thing, you had a lot of what?
Non-photos. So people would just say, I saw this up in the sky, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yes, that must have been boring. But you gotta also give these guys like some what do you call it? Because when people are looking up at the sky and they see something that looks so incredible to the eyes, like when you try and take a picture, and also when you had MUFON, the cell phones, I don't know how good the pictures were then, but I mean, a picture always looks so shit. I mean, if you just take a picture of the moon, a full moon, you're like, wow, this full moon's amazing. You take a picture, it's so incredible. Fuck, it's amazing. You take a picture with your phone, it is the shittest, it's like the cuckest thing. It's like a tiny little dot.
Yeah.
You show it to someone, people are like, what is that? What the hell is that? Like, it's a moon.
The moon.
So like,
it's like a star.
So you got to give these guys a little bit of skin, or what do you call it? Like a little bit of something, because maybe it was really impressive, but then the photo just looked like shit.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest, of the stuff that I got, there were probably about 10 really, really good stuff that came through with video footage. It was like really, really good stuff. And there was a guy actually in Cape Town. Such a pity that I couldn't. I tried to go back to see if I had my reports. A lot of the stuff is gone. But there's a guy in Cape Town that got hold of me, and he said, Lee, you wouldn't believe the stuff that I filmed. He's actually filmed over so I think he was staying in Camps Bay. He says, but he sits on his porch every night, and he has a coffee and a smoke and whatever, and he always looks over the ocean. And he says he saw this fucking green flare up in the sky, and it like hung around. It eventually became like almost like an oval, and he said these things started coming through it, like these crafts.
And you saw this video footage?
Yeah, no, he was going to send it to me, but he never did. He said, "Fuck, I've got this stuff here. I don't know if I should send it to you." And I said, "Yeah, please, fucking send me." But he was going. I promise you, he wrote me letters and letters and letters of the stuff. I thought, "Fuck, this would be awesome to see." But I don't know. I lost track of who this oak was. After when I left MUFON, I fucking got rid of half the shit. I can't find the stuff. But man,
is it on the MUFON site? Can't you go on MUFON site and
I tried to go back and look, but he didn't go. He didn't report to the MUFON. He just got hold of me. It was such a sighting, and there was another guy. Yeah, but Orbs. Yeah, so Orbs is a huge thing. I think so many people have seen the Orbs, dude.
Like,
what is this? One of the Emil just share the screen.
I don't know if you can you see this thing. This is a part of the official disclosure now on 8 May.
Yeah.
and this is one of the documents. So, in terms of the disclosure, like a shitload of it was like just PDF documents of people fucking, this is reports. And you see the same thing over and over again. It's just like somebody saw orbs, whatever. And this is like some kind of like a PowerPoint that they had prepared. And that relates exactly to this, like this orbs launching orbs. It seems to be like something that tends to repeat itself, right? So was this what the dude saw? Like,
no, it's
like
no. Look, the orb thing is massive. I mean, even one of our subscribers, Sarah, she's seen orbs. William's actually even seen orbs. So it's orbs is a very common phenomenon that happens around the world. But this guy actually, what he described was like a portal. It sounded like there was a portal that was opening, like oval, green, and these crafts were coming through the portal. It was like, fuck, I just wish. Anyway, but yeah, the orbs
sounds like Skinwalker Ranch though, also has these like portals opening and ostensibly like creatures emanating from the portals. But yeah, this is just vindication for like the orbs launching orbs kind of thing, like big phenomenon, or like big orbs just sending out smaller, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just thought that this is one of the PDFs that I thought in the newest disclosure was actually interesting.
Yeah.
In that this is
read it to us,
ostensibly
listeners.
3 teams of 2 federal law enforcement special agents, each USP R1 through USP R6, independently described seeing orange orbs in the sky emit or launch smaller red orbs in groups of 2 to 4, with 3 being the general consensus. This is stated to have occurred at least 5 times. Each time the orange orb would appear, launch red orbs, then disappear. The orange orb was only visible for 1 or 2 seconds. The red orbs would generally move away from the orange orb, or in bracket, or in but whatever you call it, mother orb, in a horizontal path. But in a couple of instances, one red orb was stated to move heading up at an angle, while another witness stated sometimes that the red orbs would swoop down after being launched from a larger orange orb. These events were witnessed by multiple teams from varying locations and vantage points over a 2-day period. Due to the sequential nature of the events, it is not known whether whether there was a single orange mother orb that released groups of red orbs, or whether there were multiple orange orbs at play.
So has this come out now in the latest?
Yeah,
I downloaded this from the official disclosure.
Yeah.
So
Orbs is a big phenomenon. Orbs is a really big phenomenon.
Of course. Yeah.
Definitely with intelligence, with some sort of intelligence. Yeah, the orbs have got some sort of intelligence. Definitely.
So is there anything else, guys?
No, that's it, bud.
I just want to ask you one question, Will, before we wrap it up. Is that something? I think like camera objects and that sort of thing is something that is very prevalent in this kind of sphere of things. Are there many like sightings and videos and things that you can definitively say this is just a fucking camera object, or like are these things like
what do you mean, like from
camera artifacts? So like when you're taking a picture, there's like normally sometimes, because the computers, the camera is busy working with other cameras behind it, it's a whole big machine. Sometimes when you're taking a photo, there's artifacts on the picture. That's actually camera artifacts from the camera. It's not
like something that may be like a fucking dust speck or whatever on the physical camera lens that you might think that you know, maybe misconstrued as something
Yeah, well, that's
more
because
significant.
that's why when Lee was showing me those pictures of the guys on the one Apollo mission on the moon, I mean, those could have all been like artifacts from photography artifacts. So that's why I kept on trying to figure out, is he taking a picture of the orb, or is he just taking some random picture on the thing and we just seen these things? Because it's a different thing if he's taking a picture of the orb. But then the thing is, the orb's not the orb, the whatever he's taking a picture of, the UFO, it's not in the middle of the screen, because when you're taking a picture, when you see a UFO and you're going to look at it and take a picture, the UFO will always be in the middle of the screen unless it's moved across the screen while taking the picture. So that would have been the most telling thing about those pictures, is if the thing firstly was in the middle of the screen, or like that's, I don't know what the background of the pictures of they saying, yes, this is, he was taking pictures of the phenomenon, then yes, then that sounds like it's legitimate. But if he's just taking a picture of the landscape and then there's these things and they've seen it only later in the pictures, then that could really be artifacts, because I'm looking at them and I'm also thinking, oh, but that's just like an artifact, or that, I mean, look, the one blue one, when, because Lee's got it blown up there, that does look like a lens flare 100%. But the thing is, it's so far in the distance and it's so small, the actual thing, that wouldn't be a lens flare, because that doesn't operate, and that you wouldn't get like it's such a that it wouldn't be like that unless it was how it was blown up. Then it really looks like a lens flare. So that's what I was trying to get at.
No, they took
Like,
photos
what is
of
the
the
background of
stuff.
pictures? Did they say?
Yeah, they took, because if you look at the terrain, if you look at the terrain, yes, it's shit terrain. I mean, why would you take photos of that? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like
that's
you've
also
got
what I was trying to figure out.
you got a plain fucking field of the moon. So definitely they were seeing these things and they were trying to take pictures. And also remember, they've got these fucking massive gloves and shit on, so they're trying to put switches, and these things are obviously moving. So they're trying to capture the stuff, not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have the access to the cameras like we have. They had to work through their suits and shit like that. So
yeah,
I think it's personally, I don't think those are artifacts, in my personal opinion, because I don't think the terrain that they were taking footage of was normally with their rover, the one that they would sit in. And then they would have like the mountains, and they have the craters, and so they're taking specific pictures of something on the moon.
It's such a random picture.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, because it's such a random picture, just of some, you know.
What I'm thinking is that they, sorry, Will, they may be just stills from a video that could have been taken, right? If you pan your video over, then and then you can stop that video at any point in time, and then zoom in on that thing. It's not as if they were specifically saying, listen, we need to film this anomalous kind of thing. It could very well have been just a video panning over the lunar surface, and then
exactly.
Somebody may have just stopped it at the right moment and say that's a fucking pylon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. So that's the thing. We don't really. What did they say about the pictures? Did they say in the report?
No,
did they say this is
it's a picture. It's not video.
Taking a picture of a UAP, or did they say this is?
No, it's not video, because they would have released a video.
No, but I'm saying, like, in the report, is it say? But I'm saying, I'm trying to say, like, in the report with the photo, did they say that this is just some random photos we found, and when we looked at them, we saw that there was these things, or did they say these pictures were by the astronauts trying to take pictures of UAP on the moon?
This is what
they don't say anything.
To me, it appears to be a still taken from a video, and then there was some semblance of an added context to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that they were necessarily. If you take the transcripts into consideration, there's no transcript saying that we see something that may or may not be some level of a pylon. There's no transcripts of that. You know, they would take the transcripts relates to their observations while they were still in orbit. And they were saying, oh, there's these things, we don't know. But there's no definitive thing to say that, we saw a pylon and we deeply concerned about it, and we need to fucking do something about it. It appears to be a still image taken from a video footage that just sort of passed along that thing.
Yeah, because to me it looks like those pictures look like these like nerds that go and they analyze every single image of the moon, and then they find like the smallest like anomaly, like a little right hand angle shadow, and then they're like, oh my gosh, there's things on the moon. Like they've been sitting there for like 3 months. Like, have you seen? There's even this one guy even a South African guy that does he's got a YouTube video of all the pictures of Mars. I mean, actually, some of the stuff's pretty cool, but like, I'm just thinking that those photos are like some nerds that are like just going through hundreds and hundreds of photos, and then eventually they come across one little spark where there was like some kind of anomaly on the camera, and they're like, okay, now this is UFO. But it's interesting that it was classified, so we actually don't know what the backstory of what really happened with those photos. Because maybe it was a going like, oh, there's a UFO, and he's trying to take a picture of the UFO, but it's actually not in the middle because it might have moved. It might have moved a little bit in the frame while he was taking the picture. So that's all I can think.
Well, look, on the site it says they were photographs. It doesn't say it was part of an image or video. It says there were photographs of.
I don't know.
Stuff, so. No, I just had a look now on the site. I just went back and checked. So they were photographs.
And at the end of the day, Will, I think you hit the nail on the fucking head. It's like, this is still part of a declassified thing, right? So it doesn't appear to be nothing at all. There's no reason why they would declassify stills from a video if it was a video, if it didn't hold some level of significance.
Yeah,
right?
Correct. Yeah, they wouldn't have held it secret for so long.
Exactly. Why not? Like, I mean, why not fucking just release it?
Exactly.
If that's part of a fucking declassification project whereby whereby they are trying to educate the public about UAP, then it appears to hold some semblance of significance.
It's the same as the photo on Mars. I mean, that face on Mars. It's the same as that. I mean, it was clear as day back in the 80s, the early 80s, and that when the rovers or the orbiters went across, took photos. You could see a face. You could see it. Then all of a sudden they said, "Oh no, it wasn't. It was actually because the photographs were taken this angle and that angle. And it was just a mountain." I'm like, for fuck's sake, dude. You can actually. It changed obviously because they didn't want people to, but it was pushed. Beginning of that face on Mars, it was pushed in the beginning.
Why didn't they set the rover there or something? I mean, I would want to,
because they don't want people to. They don't want actually. They don't.
The first place I'd send something.
Exactly.
How big is Mars though? But like, I mean, how big is Mars though? Like, was it like a concept of driving a fucking rover from South Africa to Argentina? No,
but I mean, they could have just dropped it straight there. They could have like
straight on the site.
When they like set it there, they could have. They obviously had to like find a place to put the thing. Like when they sent it there, so I would have put it right there where the face was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Cool.
Yeah. Drive it across the whole of Mars to look for it. All right, guys.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some dinner.
Yeah, cool, guys. Thanks for the afternoon. Emil, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks, Emil. I'm worried about you. I think that's like the 10th cigarette or the 20th to this whole podcast.
Yeah, the whole hour and a half ago.
I'm thinking like, you were gonna have to like send you to the hospital or something after this all.
No, don't worry about it. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me and having a chat about all this shit. It's endlessly fascinating, and thank you so much.
No, awesome, bud. Much appreciated.
Awesome, man.
All right, awesome, man. Yeah, thanks everybody for staying with us. It's quite a long one tonight. Please follow us on our new website, strangeandmysteriousworld.com. William spent a lot of time trying to develop a nice.
It's still a work
very
in
lekker
progress.
looking site. It's actually a nice. It's so nice.
So please, don't. Some of the pages are not actually complete, but I just thought I'd put something up there for now.
Yeah, 100%. And we're there. Yeah, buy some coffee and like and subscribe as always, and we'll chat next week. Thanks, Will. Have a good one.
Okay, cheers, guys.